All right. Look, it's me on the camera. I tried out the camera today. It took me a while to get the audio going, so don't mind that. I want to test it out. I don't really like doing it, and plus it's a drag on the computer. But if it's okay, I'll do it because I have a couple new things I want to kind of announce, and one of them is going to be a little bit more intimate trading with the futures, because the futures are, in my opinion, a real good way in making money, good money. And I'm always thinking, boy, these when we trade these divergences, and I look back at it and I said, man, I could have really cleaned up on that, and I never do. I always trade a very minimum amount, and it's a combination of a couple of things, being always distracted makes me paranoid. I'm always on the phone. I'm always doing something, and I miss a lot of them, and I don't like to chase either. So, all that the headspace really comes into play when trading. But we're in the right frame of mind, and you got your stuff together. You could really profit well on this, and that's why discipline and patience are so important in this, because the setup is so great. That setup is so good that it's worth your while to be serious. If you're serious enough about this, and you have dreams or aspirations to be successful and live the life you want to live, I bet a lot of people out there are like, well, I want to be a trader and I want to travel. This is the perfect way of doing it. But you got to really, you got to do it right. You can't gamble. You can't. The more time you spend in the market, the more chance you have a chance of losing money. Think of this thing, those ways. And after, I can't even remember, 90, I don't know how many years it is of me trading now. 26 maybe, 25. Out of all that time, and looking back, and realizing what works and what doesn't work, to really be passionate about this and understand this, there is something to this that we could read, and we have a probability, because nothing's guaranteed in trading. We have news and stuff, but as I go through this right now, let's just go through a part of these charts, and just kind of review what we were looking at today. So let's market's actually pushing a little bit higher here. So let's take a look at the charts I have here for a second. And guys, I would, I don't know, I didn't even announce I was doing a show tonight, so this is always, you could catch something in the middle of the night. That's why I like to record it. We'll see if it comes out good. I'll send it out. I don't like to get it out too late, because it doesn't, I can tell you, oh man, I got a good, I got some good news for a stock early tomorrow morning. By the time people get it, it's too late. So a couple things. I want to try to get those videos out earlier, right after the market. That's my goal, get these updated videos out, because even after the market, we get these big moves. But I think, going back to what I'm going to do right now is just kind of review the day. And we know that we're only looking for really 1, 2, maybe 3 different type of setups, or at least I am. And that's what determines my trades. Now, there'll be some times when we might get in on a hunch, or news and volatility, or maybe try to grab something on a breakout. That they're not our top HPS trades. Your HPS trades in your playbook, those are the ones you go to. Those are the ones when you want to always take. The other ones, it's like you're going into and playing a different game. You're moving from blackjack, which you have an edge in, to something you don't have in it, roulette or whatever. I don't even know. You probably have a good edge. I don't know anything about gambling, except when you well, let's just move on. Hey, Paul. Let's move on here. So we're going to just go. I want to go back and actually just take a look at today, and let's talk about how important this is. And I want to kind of announce something that I have in the making, in the back of my, it's actually, I already got the site set up. little, video thing. I have a concept I want to share with you, and I want to start implementing it because the setups are so good, and we're gonna want to really profit from those. So we're gonna take it to the next level. We're gonna force ourselves to take some of these trades, and there's great reasons behind them. So let's see here. You know what we're looking for right now? Right now, I'm just scanning through the charts and saying, all right, I'm looking for the pullbacks. This is just looking back. This is doing your homework. This is going back and doing research. It's like batting practice, whatever you want to call it. You go back, you read your chart. I love reading these charts because I'm not here sometimes at a certain time in the market, like tonight, at 3 o'clock. I'll go back to 3 o'clock and see if there were setups because there's a lot of people out there that can trade at 3 o'clock, and it's important to know that's when you're in. Every time we look at it, we always see that setup right around 3 to 3:30. That's your time you want to be focused. You can actually set up your trading lifestyle by understanding the better times to trade. During lunch, even though I'm committed to the show and stuff, you could get pretty boring there, in that lunch hour. And even at the end of the day, going into 3 o'clock, you could be chopping around, and you want to stay out of the market at that point. But it's hard to, because you always think there's an opportunity. So we're always looking for these opportunities. This is what I'd love to see. Love to see the market kind of in a pattern, and a pattern would be like a, you could see this. As a trader, you could see that there's probably a channel here. Very easy to see that channel. If you can't see that channel, then you have to learn how to recognize channels, because that's going to be a big, big, important thing. Whenever you have this downward channel or an upside channel, you're looking for a pivot area in the channel. And those pivots are defined usually by divergences, which makes that's the best setup, because that pivot and divergence in a channel means that you know that the channel will break out. Now this is not a real divergence here, but I'm just pointing out what we like to look for, that type of pullback. So I'm looking for it. There was probably a kind of a divergence right here. It was holding above the 20 line. Here's the trades I took today. I of course caught the bottom here, and this is it for me. This is why I am implementing this next phase of trading for us for the futures. Kind of something that's going to really, you're going to see this work in a good way. We're going to make it work for us. Beautiful divergence here. We sit down. Paul gets in. Right, he gets in early in the morning here, and it pushes up, and then it comes down. And right when it came down, you could see it very clear. I mean, the turn back up here was an obvious divergence. That was a perfect range. I look at divergences so much, and I study them so much. I know usually how many candles they're between, and what the time frame is on certain times. In the 5 minute, I always like to see those 20 candles between a low and a lower low. And not to say this is 20, but it gets up towards that higher amount. I don't like the short things, but I like these type of divergences. You start to see them. It's just a textbook thing. And when you see that textbook thing happening like that, then you have to act. You have to act. Something so pretty like this, if you don't walk up to her and ask her out, then you might as well go back home. This thing runs up here like, bat out of hell. And then we start to pull back. And at this point, I remember talking about this. And I said, well, we're going to watch what this is. Because, I think there was a divergence right here. It was a double top divergence. You can see the candle here and how low the stochastics were here. So I jumped in that short, and we caught a point and a quarter or so. And I got out of it, and I got out of it because I recognized that we were pulling back to the 20, and this was staying embedded. And I said, this is going to turn into a bull flag. Now, if I go back over to this other chart here, you can probably see my annotations during the day. Let's go back to the beginning of the day, and you'll probably see this is what I like to do, during the day, is kind of mark these things off. Whenever you see some blue lines, we're doing this live. So that was our first divergence. Then we had that little sell side divergence, but this was the flag right here that we identified. Then there was another nice divergence right here, and actually we started to see a rising trend line, and things started getting interesting. Then we had this long, and I'm always trying to put these channels into play and waiting for those channels to set up properly. This was a nice rotation play, and that's another one of our HPS setups. It's when everything comes down at the same exact time. A lot of people say this one's been down here for a while, and this one's been embedded, and now these are rotating back down. Now, this was really kind of a good setup that I did not point out, because apparently I just didn't recognize the importance of it, but it was almost a coil stochastic channel breakout combined, and it was a quad rotation. And your minds are going like, poof, wow. Yeah, I mean, looking back at that, seeing a series of lower highs in a tight pattern, and you get this one just getting oversold just as everything else here is coming back down. It had everything going for it, then a little reversal candle, and then it popped. Now, I mean, these are the moves, and we know why. We know how to identify all these moves. I know how to identify all of them. It's being there, being focused, right? And going to work. This is a business. Not taking a song request or just anything. It's when you get into a situation like this, this is where you come to work to get money. You get paid here. Everything else, we could goof around. But we start to see something that starts to look up. And we could identify these as they happen today, called the bear flag. It's, this is setting up as a bear flag. Now, it'll extend it a little bit more, but really, once we closed underneath the 20-period moving average, and this was overbought, and this was kind of embedded, that's why, we know what works. And you got a little move there. Eventually, kind of chopped around. But at that point, we said, hey, this is a choppy part of the day. I would not even be involved in this part of the day right now, because it's going to try to fake you out either way. And it chopped around, and then it closed. And we opened up now. And this is where we are. Right here, we're kind of consolidated right at the highs. The 20-period moving average coming underneath us. Old school days, we drooled on a setup like this. This was like a textbook pattern. But today, I see these things drop out fast just as much as they pop out. But it always was the ascending triangle, the pressure of the moving averages squeezes higher and then pops. You can see it on the rock bot there. Oh yeah, bull trader. All right, let's see. Yeah, tomorrow I'm actually could work with you. So I'll be in the office all day tomorrow and off the mic. So I could actually will either send you the new file, or I could walk you through it because the file is still on the site. All you have to do is download it again. If you think you're getting an error, or restart it and check your error log. You know where your log is? Open up the log, and also tell me what you're reading in the log. I'll have to show you too. We'll do it tomorrow. That'll be good. That whole conversation is on video. Yeah, I look like a weatherman. I'm wearing my DTR shirt. What do you call it? T-shirt. You can see. I don't know if you can see. I think there's something on the back. It might say DTR, something like that. My headphones, these are great headphones, and they're like kind of broken, so it kind of looks weird sometimes. It looks like it's hanging off my. It's like this one is hanging up. It just doesn't fit. You know what? It doesn't matter. Again, I don't know who's trading early in the morning, but look at this. Look at this back and forth. What do you think the range is on this? 45 to, and there was a little divergence there too, 45 to 39, 6 points.
But the 70 level turned out pretty good. And then I took 3 more tradeometer trades during the day. I didn't take the short. No, I took 1 short, and I got out of that. And then right when you finished the show today, I got out of the last long. But if you look at the tradeometer, it's really been, it was good today, and it's not always perfect like it was today. And coupled with the divergences on the 1 minute chart, I mean, that's deadly, man. It's absolutely deadly.
Yeah, it is. It is, and that's why I want to just kind of step it up. I mean, because you can't. These are opportunities that are passing us by. If you get such a great setup, I mean, 10 points is great, but I'm forcing myself, starting tomorrow, at least every time I'm on, I'm forcing myself to start off with a higher amount on these divergences, more cars. I want to let these things run more.
See, I think it's better to use smaller amount of cars and try to let them move more.
Yeah.
Now, if you take one off quick, then you've already paid for your trade, though. And then, so.
Yeah, well, that's the old thing. Today I messed up, on that one first trade. I was supposed to scale out, and I got out all together.
Yeah.
And,
well, you make more money off of that those 2 or whatever MAS cars or whatever. I'm only $1 per point, so I have to move, I have to get 10, 20 points. For it to even make sense. But I mean, I made $63 a day on trading. One time I traded 2, and the rest of them were singles. And I paid $1.19 total in commissions, and only used $37 worth of margin. So USDC. But the Prime XBT is a pain in the ass, so because you have to set your stops and your targets after you've already entered your trade. You can't set up as a bracket. You have to set the brackets afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to log in with a VPN now. It used to be you could log in from anywhere, but now they make you do it on a VPN. But I found another exchange that allow you to use USDC and stuff, but they don't offer all the forex and all the U.S. equities and gold and silver and all that stuff and natural gas like Prime XBT does. I wish Prime XBT could get regulated and approved in the United States, because if they did, I would do the AML, the anti-money laundering and all that stuff, and send in the driver's license and all that stuff, because I love that thing.
Yeah.
And it's been rock solid for 4 years.
Nice.
So I've never had, any issues with it or whatever, but the closest thing would be trading MES on Ninja. And I had somebody ask me, I'll let you get back to your video, but I had somebody ask me today, what would be the best futures platform to use? If you're just getting started into futures, I would say even if you're not just getting started, I think NinjaTrader, you got to say NinjaTrader is probably at the top of your list. And they have a couple of different brokers. And if you get their lifetime license, which I think is on sale right now, isn't it like 40 cents round trip or something? For the
you could. There's a couple different options, but there is a real cheap one.
Yeah, but I mean, we've had people bring up AMP, and then this other one called TraderGate or TraderBait or something like that.
TraderBait.
Yeah, TraderBait. That's it. So we should probably do a night show or something to maybe investigate these different platforms and stuff, because we're really platform agnostic. Whatever works good. We recommend to people. So anyway, no, I wanted to just also, you got to. I put it in
my throat is a wreck, but that was that nice little pattern, and you can see that it eventually popped. It's like the dragon pattern. Looks like a dragon head. All right, so I'm going to just go down here. I'm going to go back here. Just finish up on the that little This is where I left off. I noticed a nice divergence here at, what is that, 727? Or something like that. Nice little divergence there. And it looks like, for some reason, it gapped up or something. I don't know what happened there. This is, again, this is at the end of the day. I didn't take any trades. I think I took most of my trades in the morning. Yeah, here's one. And again, we see the big difference. Look at this. Look at the beautiful divergence here. This is a beautiful, nice move down. Here's your first low. Pop back up here in a fast reversal. But look at how high that stochastics stayed up there. This angle between this low and the lower low is just so steep. And when you have those, they're really very strong. And yeah, this was the low. I mean, this was the low for, looks, as far as I could see, most of the day. Well, at least came back there, but it went up pretty good. 32 to 52, 20 points eventually. Not that you're going to get all that. Maybe you're just going to get a little of it, but the opportunities are there. And you could get a little of it with a lot of the contracts. That's the key, you know. These are definitely giving you 0.2, 3 points. You know, a steep stochastic line gives you, you know, it could get you 3 to 10 points very easily. And once you start to recognize the good ones, and you have some good contract size, that money just starts to pile up. Here's another beautiful divergence. Look how steep that was. And this is kind of, it was tricky because if you even got in there, you got that big pop, and then it came back down. I got in when I started that divergence turn. I got in real fast, and it popped, and I got out. But it came right back. Probably would have taken me out anyway with a trailing stop. And then it continued to move higher. The key is to the good divergence. You put your stop underneath the low, divergence low, and you're good to go. Because, that's what I would worry about. All right. Then it was the overnight session here. It's 5 in the morning. I didn't even look at these. But here's a little divergence here with this low and this higher low. And a decent move into the 8 o'clock time frame there. Look at that. Nice divergence, huh? I mean, show me a divergence that really doesn't work out. So you guys got to step up. Now, if you're not at that point to trade these yet, that's okay. Speak up, Like Paul said, someone asked what's a good broker to get right now. Get a discount broker. Get a broker that, gives you cheap margin rates on the ES. And there's a handful of them. And then start off trading the micro contracts just like we're doing, just exactly what we're doing. And develop that, develop that methodology, develop the business plan that fits you. You're going to use the entries, but you could also, you're going to determine your size and how you want to scale out of it. My job is to show you, the highest probability trade is understanding where it is and also taking it off on the first rotation. That's a very scientific, mathematical type of little way of trading, and that's no emotion. All right? You're probably going to, in some situations, or a lot of situations, it's going to be perfect. You're going to get out, and it's not going to go much further before coming back down. And you said, what I always say, that's a big stress relief right there. You don't have to stress all this pullback and worrying about it going higher and not taking out the lows and, I left my profit on the table. Have multiple contracts. Take profits, first profits on your first rotation. To pay for your trade, and then it's kind of you're playing with house money at this point, and then you can be a little bit more liberal on your stops, unless you want to follow it up with a trailing stop and just lock in more profits. A question here, our trader Bob says, is TD okay for futures? I think they are. I haven't used TD Ameritrade, but I know a lot of people do. And I know they have a good platform as far as I know. I'm trying to think if Is TD an option for Ninja Trader broker? Yeah, Paul told you about the Ninja Trader's doing a big sale now. It's to like December 16th or something, maybe. And it's $300 off the multi-year license, or the multi-year, broker license, lifetime license, $300 off. And $100 off on the single broker. So with the multi-broker, you could add any, I can use interactive brokers. I could connect it to the IQ feed. I think you could add Ameritrade. All right, continue to look back here. It's pretty decent 5-minute divergence there. Oh, I did a lot of trading on this day. This was a down day, so let's take a look at this. This was a down day, and I was getting these rotation plays, and I was just taking little rotation plays, and I was taking them off on the first rotation, and it saved me on all these because the market continued to move down. So remember, identifying that trend early in the day, or you feel that, and and I'll talk about this right now. I think tomorrow is going to be a kind of a negative day, and I hope I'm wrong, but we have the PPI tomorrow. We have the Fed meeting next Wednesday, and we have the CPI on Tuesday. Market's up about 475. We're up. It's about to charge. We bounced up pretty good to that trend line. I want to show you that trend line fast. So I'm really concerned about that. Yeah, this market could take a big dump tomorrow if I don't know how these numbers are going to come in, these PPI numbers, but if we zoom out here was the breakdown of the rising channel. I want to zoom way out, and you'll see this is a channel, big channel. That starts way back there on my daily. And we finally broke down through it, and then we came up to it, and we just about touched it. And I said that could be considered a touch. But what I was saying is, you short into the first rebound of the trend line you broke down from. We came into our area. We're just a couple points away. Now, tomorrow, if we get another move back up, I don't see us getting. I just don't see us getting back up to this, or at least defeating this trend line. If anything, we go up there and we turn around quickly. But better yet, or not better, but another situation is we could just roll right over here, and a rollover would look pretty severe. I mean, we could break down through this recent consolidation. That red line was, their next area of interest. So it comes right into probably towards the around 39.32. 39.32. That's 30 points down. That's what I'm worried about tomorrow. So if we get any type of upside tomorrow, which we could early in the morning, if we could get that little upside push in the morning, I did buy a couple calls. I would take those right off, and I actually would take some puts on a bounce or a push higher tomorrow. The big picture, I'm a little bit more nervous, a little bit more negative that we don't break down, and no one's mentioned this big head and shoulders pattern right here. Now, head and shoulders is actually a channel breakdown. A lot of people don't even realize it. In the head and shoulders, you're usually in an upward channel. You come down to the your left trend line there, your bottom rising trend line, I should say. And we bounced up off of that, and then we came back down, and we kind of broke through the trend line and came back and tested it. Now, it does have the look of a shoulder, a head, the other side of the head, and the shoulder. And the concept here is we bounced, we came up to the highs, we came down, we broke through, and then we failed here, and then that's your right shoulder, and then it rolls over.
Tradometer ES overbought.
But I'll tell you one thing, I am not a big head and shoulders fan, One of the classic Hall of Fame, formations. It's in the Hall of Fame, but so is Babe Ruth. And I'm sure Babe Ruth couldn't hang around today, in the big leagues. So that's good. I hope we get a gap up tomorrow. Oh man! But the problem is, I got these damn options, and we're gonna have the PPIs. Probably, what does that come out? Is that that's an 8? That would be an 831 or 9. Hey, Michael. I'm wearing my hat today. I got the hat on because I was like a little. I didn't brush my hair or anything. I came into the office. I did put a shirt on, and I did shower. And I said, you know what? I want to try to set up my camera. So I was messing around with it. I got it going on. I got my headphones on. Got the hat on. You'll probably see me dressed like this tomorrow because I did shower before, so I could get away with it. This is an Irish hat. This is an Irish, pretty cool. Made. My sister got it for me over in Ireland. I don't know if you could read that. Anybody can read that? No, you can't read that. What are you doing, Johnny? Oh, I have the. You know what? You can't read that because I have the green screen on. I have the green screen on. Not be unfocused or focused. I will not be focused. All right. I am definitely somehow taking some type of protection to the downside starting tomorrow. So, well, let's finish up this. I don't want to make. We had Paul call and we had everything. What I'm going through is just going back to all the trades for the week and all the setups. And great setups the last 2 days. I'm not seeing anything back here. A few days. We did have a nice channel here and almost a nice coil here. You can see the coil, right? And the channel. Okay, went over that. Oh, we went over this. I went already over this stuff. Let me zoom all the way out here. Oh, yeah, this is where we left off. So we actually caught this downward thing, but it's important to take it off. I took it off every time we got overbought. So every entry I did take, even though it was a kind of a divergence, even though it's the divergence, we tagged that, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to stick around, even if it doesn't give you a lot. If it doesn't give you a lot, it doesn't give you anything, or you take a loss. You take it off on that point, especially in a strong downtrend. And you could recognize a strong downtrend. Most of the day it's holding under a certain moving average and it's just heading down or up, and depending on what's, if an uptrend is the same thing. You can't fight those things. And if you do, you have to take your profits real fast. So that's part of the business plan to deal with a situation like that. Strong trending markets, you don't want to stick around. If you want to trade it, fine, but don't stick around. A little bit more difficult. But always take the trade on your signal. Never go long when the stochastics are overbought in a downtrend. It just doesn't, no hunching or hopium involved. If you get a hunch, I have a hunch. Wait for the signal. And that was probably some news that happened right there. I remember that. I remember everything here. I think there was probably a divergence right there too that just was setting up. That's about it. Another great divergence I caught the bottom and probably got a couple points out of. And then you look back at them, and that's the key here, realizing it, let it sink in. Say, yeah, I was there at the bottom. Yeah, I did it. I was there. I was there when the market hit 666. I got in 667. Yeah, I was a hero. I got a 668. I got out. Yeah, I got the bottom. Yeah. Nice divergence here, sell side divergence, nice pullback. Got to take these. Tomorrow's the day. I say sayonara on the video. I kind of got it went a little array there, some phone calls and some stuff and some dead air. So I apologize if you're listening to this, because it was meant to be a little bit shorter, but all my videos end up being a little bit longer than I planned. But I am going to work on some other stuff now, so I'm going to send this out. Stop that right here.